How to create email nurture sequences that actually convert into sales. Most email nurture sequences do not actually convert because they're boring, they're spammy, they're predictable, or they're too overwhelming. However, a great nurture sequence can literally turn strangers into paying clients in just a matter of emails. So if you're a business owner, it's pretty important that you master the skill of doing this the right way. So what actually is an email nurture sequence? Very simply, it's a sequence of emails sent over a short period of time when people first opt in to join your email list. And the purpose is that you build rapport with that person, build that relationship so they get to know, like, and trust you in the hope that eventually they're going to want to work with you. Now, why does having a nurture sequence actually matter? Well, if you're new to this YouTube channel, I just want to let you know that this is actually the third part in a 3-part free YouTube series. The first video was about building your email list. The second was about creating a killer lead magnet that converts. And this video is now about the email nurture sequence. So very simply, if you've watched that last video and you've created a really highly desirable lead magnet that makes strangers go, oh my God, I need this, I want to sign up. They've now opted in to enter our world and get on our list. But customers are not always ready to buy immediately. Our job is to build a genuine relationship with them so that when they are ready to buy, they want to buy from us and not one of our competitors. And here's a couple of insights that make this even juicier. From a combination of studies, it's been suggested that the average ROI from sending emails is between 35 to 45% return. Just think about that. That suggests that for every pound you spend on building that email list and maintaining that email list, you could expect £45 back, which is just absolutely bonkers returns. And it starts to get really, really exciting when you build your email list to 5,000 subscribers, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 subscribers. Then you get into a place where you know just sending one email with one offer can be a super lucrative email. And email is still one of the most consumed platforms that we have. Research shows that 61% of people check their emails multiple times a day, and 20% of people check them multiple times per hour. And what's even better is this research shows that it transcends across all age groups, from 15-year-olds to 65-plus-year-olds. When you look through the different age groups, there's very little drop-off. Across the board, the same applies of people of all ages. So making it a priority to build that list, have an amazing lead magnet, and an incredible nurture sequence really can pay dividends. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips around my exact email nurture sequence, give you tips on how to make sure you have a high open rate, and then also talk about what you can do beyond the email nurture sequence to make sure you continue to build those relationships and make money from your email list. So let's dive in. Okay, so the first tip is around setting the right intentions. I don't want you to go into this thinking the intention is to get people to buy as quickly as possible. I want you to flip that and think the only intention is to build a real relationship with this individual as best as possible. Now, in my specific email nurture sequence, we send 6 emails within a 2-week period. Now, you've got to think when people first opt in, this is the moment you've grabbed their attention and you've now got a window of opportunity to set the tone and build this relationship. Now, with these emails, what you're going to do is make sure that you have a process where these emails are delivered on automation. So over a 2-week period, we send these 5 emails, but they're all set up to send with certain delays between each email, usually between 1 to 2 days between each. And this means whether somebody signs up on midnight on a Monday or 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, it doesn't matter. Once they've opted in, that will then trigger this automated series of emails that will go out with the same delay between them. Now, you can use many platforms to do this, things like MailChimp, ActiveCampaigns, or a CRM system like System.io that we use. But it's really important that you're not doing this manually and that it is set up on automation. So email number 1, the purpose for this is 2 things. Number 1, deliver the thing that they've opted in for. But number 2, try and get them to actually reply to this email, take it away from the automated nurture sequence and actually make it a genuine back and forth conversation. If you can do that, you're really onto a winner. How do I do this in my email nurture sequence? Well, I don't spend too long talking about the thing that they've opted in for. And just very simply say in the opening line, here it is, grab it, download it, I hope it's useful. Then I move on and I immediately get to work on setting the tone for this relationship. In other words, rather than just being another generic email that gets ignored, I literally say to this person, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've set the target of actually building genuine relationships and this is the key thing, I explain why it's useful. Building genuine relationships is the thing that's going to lead to more support, more collaboration opportunities, more possible sales. So I really want to build this relationship with you. Then we go into something fun and I literally just say to them, let's just make up a scenario, pretend we're on a beach in Ibiza. If we were, what is the drink of choice that you'd be ordering? And this is the critical bit. I literally say to them, if you reply to this, I'll tell you mine and it's really embarrassing. And I go one step further and I say, and by the way, yes, it's genuinely me that reads and responds to every email. And what this is doing is creating intrigue. Is it really him? Will he reply? What's the drink of his choice? Why is it embarrassing? We're creating these questions in the reader's minds. It gives them that little bit more interest to go, maybe I'll just spend a couple of seconds and drop a little reply. Now, can you see how much better this email is than the usual generic ones that just go, hey, thanks so much for signing up. Please download the guide. I really hope you love it. And if you've any questions or anything I can help with, feel free to drop me a message. It just blends into the background. Your job is to be a real person, not a robot. Your job is to stand out in a crowd where everybody else is doing the same thing. And if you can master that, it's going to make a massive difference. Now, you really want to try and get as many people to reply as possible because that's going to show the email server people actually want these emails, they're replying to these emails. It's going to help you with your open rates. More importantly than any of that, it's going to start a genuine conversation. And it's worth noting that this first email will always be your highest email open rate because it's where people have just opted in, the interest is high, it's a great opportunity to capitalize on. Full transparency, our email one usually gets around a 70% open rate, and of those emails, around about 10 to 15% of people actually drop a reply and start a conversation, which is pretty flipping good. Okay, email number 2. The purpose of this is literally just to check in. So we usually send this 24 hours later, and this is literally just a little bit of a fun check-in saying, hey, I know the score. People see an ad online, they sign up to something with good intentions, and then they don't even open the email. They don't even click on the lead magnet and they don't get the value. And I just literally put in this email, look, I've genuinely tried to create something that can actually help you. Please do make sure you take a minute to look at it. And once you have done, would love to hear your feedback. So this is just a nice little friendly reminder, a nice nudge, again, within that first 24-hour period where desire is usually a little higher. We then leave it a couple of days, and email 3 is the one where we now go a little bit deeper. There's no call to action in this one per se. The aim is to help them really get to know us. So I open this email saying, hey, I want to get a little bit more vulnerable. I'd love to share a bit of a story. And I basically talk them through with a little bit more depth, a time in my life that I went through where I struggled, how I overcame it. But importantly, the emphasis is on it being something that is super relatable to my ideal client, so that that person reading that email is going to go, oh wow, this is really similar to me and what I'm going through or what I've been through. And it's going to deepen that connection, but also deepen that trust that you actually understand them. It's going to make them feel seen, heard, understood, and build that rapport. Now, emails 4 and 5 are going to now be slightly shorter, but various versions of this same kind of theme in which we're just trying to share things, give insights, ideas, tips, share stories that increase that relatability and get people to know us a little bit more. Now, in these emails, I try and take the reader to a couple of other places where they can get value. So for example, there's a YouTube video that I've done on how to do personal outreach without it feeling icky. And I literally say, look, if you find this icky like I used to, I've created a way of doing it that doesn't need to feel weird. Watch this video. I really hope it gives you some tips. I really hope it helps. So the idea of emails 4 and 5 is we're just now focusing on a combination of getting them to know us a bit more, but also giving them value, giving them tips, letting them know if they continue to open these emails, it could actually help them and be really useful. So if you have a podcast, if you have a YouTube channel, if you've got some content you've maybe done on Instagram, these can be your emails where you start to take them away from your emails and start giving them value on various other platforms. And on emails 5 and 6, this is where we can start to do a soft call to action. They've now been in our world a couple of weeks. They've had the free value of the lead magnet. They've had a few emails where they're getting to know us a little bit more, trust us a little bit more. They've had a couple of recommendations of maybe YouTube or podcasts that we've done. Now we can actually try and move them to somewhere. Now, I want to be clear. Most people still will not be ready to buy, but some people will. And we don't want to lose the opportunity of those people signing up. So this could be a little call to action like, hey, if you want to chat some more, if you're interested in how I can help, here's a link to book a call. Or if you're interested in my membership, here's the link to start a free trial. We're just starting to test things now to see who's ready to buy, who's interested, who wants more than just the free stuff. And again, most people won't, but some people will. So that just gives you a basic breakdown of how I've structured my first 6 emails in this nurture sequence. But if you want to literally read all 6 of them and see exactly what I've written, exactly what I share, all you need to do is type the word nurture in the comments section below, and I will literally send you my exact email nurture sequence for you to just check out and read. So go do that now and I'll send it to you. Now, once the reader has gone through that 5 or 6 email nurture sequence, it's really important we don't just drop off the face of a cliff. We need to keep that conversation going. So once they've been through that process, you now want to enter them into your usual flow. My recommendation is you send minimum 1 quality email per week. Now, obviously, every now and then you're going to send other emails when you've got announcements, updates, offers, things like that. But I want you to focus on 1 quality value-led email every week. Basically, it's a weekly newsletter, but my advice is don't call it a newsletter. Nobody's interested in signing up to another flipping newsletter. They're too busy, they're too stressed, they're too overwhelmed, and they just want value. So what I do is I send something every Sunday called the Sunday Scoop. And what this is just a bit of a brain dump from my mind where I share insights, thoughts, ideas around my business and growing my business that can be of value and use to the reader. I know my ideal client is focusing on building their online business, and I know that hearing from somebody that's either a few steps ahead of them or on a similar level, and just being able to have a little read of what it is I'm thinking and doing can be super, super useful and of interest to people. And again, we regularly get just below 40% open rates, which is pretty good. And most weeks we have a handful of people actually reply to these Sunday emails. So I call it the Sunday Scoop. It goes out every Sunday afternoon. And by the way, little bonus tip, Sunday afternoons can be quite a good time to send your emails because people generally, they're starting to think of the week ahead, they're starting to plan, they're not having to take their kids to school or be at work or anything like that. It generally is quite a good time to land in people's inboxes. But the trick here is to regularly maintain contact with your readers and do so in a way which continues to just build that rapport, keep them hearing from you, and not focus on constantly selling and constantly making offers, just giving insights and value. Now I'm gonna go through quick fire 7 bullet points of things you must make sure you do for every single email, whether that's in your nurture sequence or emails beyond it. So get notepad and pen at the ready because you must make sure you follow all 7 of these if you want good deliverability rates, high open rates, and you want to convert into people buying from you. Tip 1, your subject line must be highly intriguing. Whether we like it or not, on some level, these subject lines need to be a little bit clickbaity. It's just the truth because people are inundated with emails day in, day out. And if you don't have a subject line that stops the scroll and creates massive intrigue, you're just going to get lost in the noise. So I always say to people, you want to try and create as many questions in the reader's mind as possible, because if they get questions, as humans, we like to close a loop. We want the answers, and the only way we're going to get the answers is opening their email. And this is one of the most important things. It doesn't matter how good the email is or your offers are or what you can do for people. If people are not opening the emails in the first place, nothing else counts. Now, I want to add a caveat. It must be justified. If you're putting really clickbaity titles and there's no relevance to what you're actually speaking about, very quickly people will just consider you spammy and they'll unsubscribe. So as long as you can justify it and as long as there's value in the emails, generally quite clickbaity can work. So titles that have worked really well for me are things like I'm absolutely fuming and this has proper given me the ick. Like if you think this has proper given me the ick, makes people go, what's given him the ick? Why is it giving him the ick? Why is he emailing me this? What's the purpose? I need to know more. So the more you can create those kind of questions, the more the likelihood is that people actually want to read on. I think one of the best subject lines for open rates that I did was, screw this, I'm starting OnlyFans. But again, it was justifiable because I make a joke of it and I go, haha, sorry for the clickbaity title. But actually, I'm sure we've all been there where business gets so tough and you think it'd be easy to just throw in the towel and start selling feet pics on flipping OnlyFans. You can see how very quickly, even though it was clickbaity, very quickly I diffused the situation and go, okay, I kind of get where he's coming from, kind of got a sense of humor, and he's kind of got a good point. I'll continue to read on. So clickbaity, yes. yes, but justified also. Tip number 2, write like you actually speak. Have a bit of personality in there. If you're the sort of person with a sense of humor, use a bit of humor. Remember that people buy from people. So you don't want to sound super corporate or super professional or like a robot. You want to sound like a real human being, a real person, because that's what people can get behind. That's who people buy into. Now, obviously, if you write like an absolute knob, you don't want to do that, and actually you want to question why do you write like a knob in the first place. So it still needs to be, to some degree, an element of professionalism, but the core point is it wants to feel like I'm getting an email from a real person, not from a company. Tip number 3, speak directly to one person, not to many. So rather than putting things like, hey everyone, or hey team, or hey legends, or whatever it may be, you want to make sure you speak to one person. Now again, depending on the system that you use, most of them have a built-in feature where you're able to select an option that will drag in that person's individual name, so that when they receive that email, it looks like it addresses them directly rather than everyone. So if Dave signed up to your email list and you put hi, and then you select the first name option, it will drag in Dave's first name, so the email they'll receive will say hi Dave. But the advice I give here is, imagine you're sending an email to one of your best mates about something you're really excited to tell them, or something you want to share, or a great opportunity you want to make sure they understand and know about. Think about speaking to that one person and talking to them in a real way where you genuinely just want to share something with them. Tip number 4, do not include lots of graphics, pictures, or links. All these will get flagged, and you're more likely going to end up in junk, spam, promotions, or marketing tabs. As best as possible, as often as possible, we want to land in people's main inboxes. Other things to be mindful of is not having swear words, too many exclamation marks, and also too much language around money and numbers and things like that. All these things can get flagged and end up in marketing tabs. So again, just think like you're emailing a mate. If you think like a business and you put nice graphics together, the algorithm's going to pick it up that it's a business marketing and selling. You're not going to end up in people's inboxes, and also people are going to see it and they're going to think you look like a business. They're not going to think you look like a human being that's actually trying to connect with them. My advice is, don't have any more than one link where possible, because again, multiple links is seen as spammy. But we are going to have to send links from time to time, and that's okay. But just make sure the links are relevant. Try and aim for no more than one where possible. And also you can try things like using Google native links. So things like linking out to YouTube, which is run by Google, or Google Forms and things like that can generally help with deliverability. Tip number 5, keep your paragraphs short. Now, some of your emails will need to be longer than others. Some are going to give a little bit more depth, which is fine. But just from an aesthetic look, remember that firstly, most people are going to look at these emails on their phone. And second, remember people don't have attention spans. So when they see big chunks of paragraphs, it immediately turns people off. So if you can stick to more one sentences, one lines, small paragraphs, things like that, what that does is just give them this little dopamine reward pattern where they go, oh, that was an interesting line. What's next? Oh, that was an interesting line. What's next? Oh, that, like, you get the gist. So it's that thing of just giving them enough to keep them wanting to read more, rather than going, okay, this is interesting. Wow, that's a big part. Oh my God, there's another big, oh, it's too much. I'm overwhelmed. I'm busy. Goodbye. Tip number 6, once you've gone beyond the nurture sequence, I really recommend you start to send emails consistently at the same time on the same week. Now, initially you might want to test these and see what generally seems to perform better, but generally getting into a rhythm where people come to expect your emails and are excited to read them because they find them valuable is going to really help you with building that relationship and stay in front of mind with your reader. So as I say, we do an email every single Sunday. You might want to try something like a Monday or a Friday, or it doesn't really matter, but make sure that you have your thing where people come to expect the email every single week. Now, some other tips to try around this, like I said, Sunday afternoon generally works quite well for us because it tends to be a time where people are not doing much else. But also try and think like just before lunch or just after lunch. Again, can generally have quite good open rates. I think that morning section between 8 a.m. till 9 a.m. is quite busy. It's quite noisy. A lot of businesses send their emails then. So therefore, there's higher competition to grab people's attention. Whereas just before lunch, people might just quickly check their emails before they go to lunch. And at that point, you're likely to have less competition. So play around with different times and find the ones that seem to work best for you. And tip number 7, make sure your emails are actually emails people want to read. It sounds obvious, but sometimes when we're so busy in our business, we don't go back to the true fundamentals. So don't just send things that are constantly spammy or salesy. Make it your mission that your emails are something that people actually can't wait to read because they get so much from it. Focus on the emails being interesting, insightful, valuable, useful, entertaining, so that people are getting so much from the email itself, not just from being told the value comes when they start paying. If you can really focus on making them strong emails, this is going to be such an asset in your business. So there we go. I really hope you found this useful. And this is not all. I've got more for you. So as I said earlier, if you comment the word nurture below, I'm literally going to send you my exact email nurture sequence for you to check out. But I'm going one further. If you're one of the first 15 people to comment the word nurture, not only will you get my nurture sequence, but if you then email me back with your email nurture sequence once you've written it, I will personally give you a review of that sequence with my personal feedback on what I think's working and how you can make it even stronger so that you can have absolute confidence that your nurture sequence is the best it can possibly be. I'm going to look at your subject lines to make sure there's a high chance people are even going to open them. I'm going to make sure that you're creating content that genuinely gives value, is interesting, is insightful, that prompts people to actually want to reply and start a conversation with you. I'm literally going to read through everything, give it a full audit and give you my personal feedback. But this is just for the first 15 people. So literally all you got to do is comment the word nurture now. Everybody that does that will get my nurture sequence, but the first 15 of you will also get basically a bit of free coaching and guidance from me. If you've watched all 3 of these videos in this 3-part series, I really hope you found it useful. If you haven't watched the other 2, go back and watch them. But I'm really excited to announce that this is just the beginning. We have got so much more to give you on this channel, and I'm about to do something I've never done before. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing a full-length, in-depth training on how you can effectively launch big one-to-many offers. I'm not talking just a quick 10-15 minute video. I'm talking a full in-depth masterclass in which I'll share the exact strategy that I've used this year in some of my recent launches, which includes a launch where we generated almost £42,000 in revenue, another one where we generated just short of £30,000 in revenue, and most recently a launch that we did that has done over £110,000 in revenue. My aim for this tutorial is to give you absolutely every little detail of exactly what we did so you can go out there and do your own version of these launches. Many people are launching offers the wrong way. Many people are launching offers an outdated way. I'm literally giving you the exact strategy that I've used as recent as just over a month ago. So if you want to make sure you get that completely free, the first thing that you just need to make sure you do is subscribe to this channel. Genuinely, you must make sure you're subscribed or you're going to miss out on this. This is going to be an unlisted video. This is only going to be for the people who engage with my content, who show they're actually interested. So for now, just make sure you're subscribed to this channel and then await further information. And that's not going to be all. That's just going to be one masterclass. I'm going to be giving you so much more, but more to be revealed soon. Really hope you found this video useful. Make sure you comment the word nurture now. I'll send you my email nurture sequence and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.